Welcome to the Valhalla Filmcast, a show where normal guys talk about the films that they love. And here are your hosts, Bryce Thompson, Brian Hammond, and Cody Ryrie. Now get ready, because the show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Valhalla Filmcast. I'm here with the guys I'm always here with, Brian and Cody. I am Bryce Thompson. And we are talking about the Oscars, the nominations for 2017. Some interesting ones. To be honest, I don't know how interested I am. But I have a feeling this conversation might change my mind. Conversations usually do. But, yeah, let's see how it goes.
Okay. Does anyone want to take the reins and fly?
So, Best Actor. What do you think?
I was excited that... this isn't excited for this movie in general because it was my favorite so far this year. Hacksaw Ridge. Andrew Garfield getting a nod for Best Actor. I was happy about that. We'll talk more about that when we get to Director. But
even more. Yes, even more. Yes.
But I wanted to mention Viggo Mortensen for Captain Fantastic. I was very happy to see that. That was a little kind of underseen gem, I thought, from this year. I really liked it. I don't know that it deserved to get nominated for a bunch of awards, but Viggo was deserving. He gives a really interesting performance, unlike anything he's done before. And, of course, he's totally naked, which deserves an award.
Hey, there you go.
See.
That's exciting.
And Denzel Washington also was fantastic in Fences, so I was happy to see that.
I've heard that's like a 9 out of 10. I have to see that. I heard it's really good.
Which one?
Is that true? Didn't you see Fences?
Yes, yeah, I did,
yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. And the performances were the standout in that. That's so I thought it was fair that it was nominated for those two. So
I'm going to let you guys into a little piece of information. Andrew Garfield is not my favorite actor.
No.
Support however, he did pull it off well for that era, but it was kind of over the top and cheesy. He's not my favorite by far. Can anyone guess what my favorite is?
Probably Ryan.
Yeah,
Ryan Gosling.
Yep.
If you've been a listener of
is that creepy? Hey, the listeners can't hear my facial expression, so it's not as creepy as
that was all vocal, though. There was some kind of weird pheromone-induced guttural thing going on there.
Well, Ryan, you've been warned.
Wow,
you have been warned.
Yeah.
Has anyone seen Manchester by the Sea?
No, it left the theater here. But like I said, it's going to be streaming in like a week and a half. So I'm going to see it and Moonlight in about a week and a half. I'm going to see them both.
I've heard that it's just like horrible. Like it's good to watch, like it's a good movie, but it's just like depressing and
rip your heart out. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to just make this prediction too? Just go for it.
About who's going to win it?
When did Denzel win the last one? Did he win for Training Day or was it?
Yes, he won for Training Day was the last one, and he won for Glory before that. Mm-hmm. But those are the two I think he's won for.
Because from what
it could be his year.
The clips, he brings it from what I've seen of it. But my Ryan Gosling was incredible in La La Land. So he's playing the piano. He's dancing, he's acting. I didn't know where I was going with that.
So Ryan Gosling can do his job by acting.
Well, I can't talk about him anymore without feeling creepy. See what you guys have done to me? Seriously.
It didn't. Right. It didn't help that you didn't talk about it. It didn't sound like you forgot where you were going. It sounded like you were lost in this like love spell thing.
No,
and just like you couldn't find the words.
My goodness.
And then you're like acting. Right.
Okay, you've
Anyways.
crossed the line.
Moving on.
Please.
Best Actress.
Goodness.
I have to be completely honest. I have not seen any of these movies.
Aha! I have. I saw Florence Foster Jenkins, what Meryl Streep was nominated for. And can I say, I didn't think she should be nominated. I thought Amy Adams should have been nominated for Arrival. I think it's highway robbery that Amy Adams didn't get up for Arrival, which has 8 nominations. And Meryl, it seems like it's like required. Somewhere in the Academy bylaws, Meryl Streep must be nominated every year.
I was going to say, for the love of all things holy, will you not nominate her for something? Seriously. Oh, it's getting old.
It's her 20th nomination.
Holy cow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
How many wins, Cody? Do you have that in the top of your...
I don't have that. No, it's been a bunch, though. A ridiculous amount. And I love her. I love Meryl Streep. I mean, politics aside.
Oh, yeah.
Meryl Streep is an amazing actress, but it was Amy Adams' year. She carries Arrival, and she has this deep, kind of soulful performance. And nothing? You know, I thought that should have been switched. And I hear really good things about Ruth, I don't know how you pronounce her last name, Negga. And I'm going to stay away from it because I don't know how to pronounce it. But but I've heard really good things about
Oh, Ruth.
Yes, really good things about her and Loving, which I wanted to see as well.
What ethnicity is she, by the way, Cody? Do you know?
Several different ethnicities. You know, I saw a show.
Dangerous territory here.
Well, she's in a movie about interracial marriage, and interracial marriage is the topic of the film. So that's, you know, it's not like it's totally off topic, but no, she. I've heard good things about her, and I really want to see the film. But no, the only one I'd seen was for Florence Foster Jenkins was Meryl Streep, and she's good. Like I said, I don't dislike her, but not over Amy Adams. Amy Adams should have gotten that this year. She's been nominated 5 times. Amy Adams has, and I don't know what the deal is. But sorry, that's my rant.
I really want to see Jackie with Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
That looks really interesting and really good. Just she looks pretty much like Jackie Kennedy. It's quite fascinating how well, and I think that, I mean, I'd have to go look again at all the other nominations for best like costume design, but they really do a good job, I think, in that movie at making them. And just seeing the trailer, since I haven't seen the movie yet because I haven't been able to. Thanks a lot, movie theaters around here. But it looks really good. So yeah,
and Emma Stone for La La Land.
Yeah,
which is my favorite.
I notice you don't goggle quite as much over old Emma.
You know, can we get off the Gosling topic, because I'm sweating, I'm red in the face, I'm blushed, I'm happily married, by the way. Okay, moving on.
All right, moving on.
So the more we talk about Ryan Gosling, the more Brian sweats. So yeah, let's move on. Something else. So
directing.
Yes.
The one I'm excited for, and we mentioned this at the beginning, was Mel Gibson. Because there's a special place in my heart for Mel. He can be insane and say he doesn't like Jewish people, and the part in my heart is still there. He's an amazing director. I love his work.
Can we say this? Like, I don't want to excuse bad behavior, but he's been suffering from, you know, severe bipolar and alcoholism for a number of years, and so it wasn't like he was sober on a Wednesday and wrote a blog about how much he hates Jewish people. You know, it was.
And also, I don't think being drunk is necessarily truth serum. It makes you crazy and not think logically. And so,
that's true.
Yeah, I'm glad he's nominated. I hope he wins over Damien Chazelle, even, which I love La La Land, but Mel Gibson deserves it. He needs back in the limelight, I think.
I agree.
I think I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about him winning. I'm really not, because I think the nomination says it all. I think not only is he allowed to make a movie after 10 years, but that movie is up for Best Picture and, most importantly, Best Director. There's only 5 spots for Best Director, and the fact that he got nominated means he's out of movie jail. I think it's over. I think that the powers that be have forgiven him, and now we're going to see more movies by him, and that's the best news out of all the nominations, in my opinion.
Absolutely, yeah.
He was definitely the biggest surprise to me as I was scrolling through them and saw Mel Gibson for Hacksaw Ridge.
I was scared.
I was surprised. I was like, wow, that's interesting. Because he has, I mean, he it all just went away from my brain because I'm not supposed to say it. But it's just very, very surprising that he was nominated. I was shocked and happy.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, in a way he kind of forced their hand, because the movie is... And here's the thing I love about Hacksaw Ridge, is he didn't make some kind of like 18th century costume drama. Like, he didn't set out to be like, okay, I need to get back in good graces with the Academy. What kind of movie do they love? And I'll make that movie. Hacksaw Ridge fits very comfortably alongside Apocalypto, Passion of the Christ, Braveheart, all those, as a Mel Gibson film. And so he got back in good graces, but he did it making his kind of movie still. He didn't sell out for what, quote unquote. He didn't, it still feels very much like a passion project. And he got back on the shoulders of that. It's kind of the best of all worlds. I don't know. I have more thoughts about Hacksaw Ridge. I've had more and more thoughts the more I've thought about it. I haven't been able to see it again, which I really want to. So when Oscars come up again, I'll probably bring some of those up. But it's a movie that I think has lots of layers. And the biggest star of the film, I think, is the directing, is behind the camera. That's what really makes the movie work. So I'm done. But yeah, I love it.
All right. Anything else on director, Brian?
No, but I think we're good.
All right, Best Picture.
The one I was surprised by on this one was Hidden Figures. I mean, I heard that Hidden Figures was good, but I didn't know it was like, Best Picture nominee good. I wanted to see it, but that's the one movie that kind of stuck out, and I was like, wow, is it that good? Okay, great. So I want to see it. But everything else,
I just heard about that one. Refresh my mind what that one's about.
It's the story of the ladies, the African American women who worked for NASA.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. We got Hell or High Water. What are your thoughts on that for a nominee, Cody?
I need to watch it again, I suppose. Like I said, I was kind of in a weird mood when I watched it the first time. I appreciated it more than I liked it. As I was watching it, I thought, this is really good. This is really well made, and yet I wasn't really engaged with it, which probably was more my fault than the movies. But I think it's appropriate that it's up for picture. Jeff Bridges definitely deserves his nomination for supporting actor. And editing, it was very well put together. So I was happy with those things, and it made me want to revisit the movie, which I guess is one of the purposes of the Academy. So it belongs there.
Good deal.
I was happy about Arrival. Like I said, Arrival is a movie that kind of got under my skin and wouldn't let go. I'm always excited to see kind of high-concept genre films get nominated. I mean, you don't see a lot of science fiction films up for Best Picture outside of, like what the original Star Wars, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, that kind of stuff. And so it's neat to see that kind of thoughtful genre picture get recognized.
Yeah.
How do you feel about La La Land and just like cleaning up with the nominations?
Well, they got 14 nominations, which is tied, a 3-way tie for the most in history. All About Eve and what is it, Titanic, Cody? What was the second one?
Titanic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. This is when I pick through this category by category, I find my favorites, and like, it would be nice if Mel won, and all that stuff. But I'm going to be sitting there vying for La La Land every single nomination, seriously. because I loved it that much. It was a cinematic experience, one that I have not felt since and this probably tells you if you would like it or not, since like Moulin Rouge. So if you like that type of film that is just a cinematic experience, you'll probably like it. You have to like musicals probably, but as far as there are so many nuanced shots that tell, just using the camera and the lens alone, they convey like romance. Nothing of facial emotions, just how the camera zooms, and it's just beautiful. All the dance numbers, and I think that's going to take the Best Picture. That's my gut feeling.
The more cynical people in the press have brought up the fact that Hollywood loves to nominate movies that are about Hollywood and give them Best Picture. Things like Argo and Birdman, and gosh, there was more than that. There was a bunch, but
yeah, having
not seen the movie, I can't render a verdict on that yet. There was a really funny skit on Saturday Night Live. I don't know if you saw this, where the comedian from Community, Aziz Ansari, he was on there, and there's two police officers that bring him in and they interrogate him for not liking La La Land, and it's worth a watch. I haven't even seen La La Land, and I thought it was funny.
It is a love letter to the golden era of Hollywood. I think it even starts with the CinemaScope logo or something like that. I don't remember now, but it's a throwback to Hollywood, even though it's not a period piece. It feels like a period piece, even though it's modern. So it's really unique, and I can't recommend it enough to the type of people that would like that. If you're not into musicals, you probably won't like it, but whatever.
Okay.
Any other Oscar?
Well, I did want to bring up, since we were discussing ethnicity earlier, the Oscars So White controversy and how that has changed or not changed who and what has been nominated this year. You'll notice that there's a lot more nominations for African American actors and actresses.
6.
I have, what's that? 6?
6.
Yeah, and I thing is though, here's the thing, and I don't know. This is, walking on eggshells, I guess, but I didn't feel like any of the nominees, and I saw Fences. That's my only reference point. I haven't seen Hidden Figures yet. I haven't seen Moonlight, although I really want to. Fences, I don't feel like Denzel Washington and Viola Davis got nominated because they were black. I think they got nominated because they were amazing. So it's because I know some people have probably criticized saying, "Oh, now you're nominating black people because all this pressure." Sometimes I think there's just I hope that it caused the Academy to look deeper at some of those performances, and yet I hope that we don't ever get into like affirmative action for nominees. Like however you feel about affirmative action in real life, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, the Academy is really bad about political nominations already, about nominating things for reasons other than their quality of performance or quality of job, and I don't know that we need another category on there. I hope it just causes them to look deeper into the field for movies that are produced and made and starring people of color. That's fine. I mean, that's something that we all should do because you want to get the most experiences out of it you can. But just from Fences, I don't feel like it was a rigged nomination to get more African Americans in there. And from what I've heard of the other ones, it doesn't seem that way either. So that was one thing I heard there was a criticism. They're like, oh, they're just nominating because they're black. I don't see that this year. I'm glad they're nominated, and it seems like they're worthy.
Good.
So
what I was going to ask you guys about Lion. Do you know anything about that? It has Nicole Kidman in it. That should be on my radar, but I have not seen or heard anything about it. Nothing?
Well, I know it getting some buzz early on, and then the reviews were kind of mixed, and then all of a sudden it had like 5 nominations. So it was one of those kind of ping-pong things. And that is the one film. I was trying to see all the Best Picture nominees before the show. That's one of my goals every year. And I can make them all work except for Lion. Lion is the only one that's not going to play anywhere near here. It's not going to be streaming. It's not going to be released. So, and it's kind of got a late start on things. I'm sure it had a limited release to be nominated, but the wide releases didn't seem to happen till after everything else. And so, as a result, I won't be seeing that one before the show. But everything else I should get. I liked Dev Patel in Slumdog Millionaire. I mean, he was good in that. So
yeah, Rooney Mara, Nicole Kidman. Looks interesting. So what do we got left? We've got supporting actor and actress. Do we want to touch on those or
anything
not?
stick out to you all in those?
It's more of the same. Like the same movies keep popping up over and over and over.
I was disappointed that there was two. Well, I was going to say two actors that I thought should have gotten some recognition that didn't, and that was John Goodman for 10 Cloverfield Lane. I know it's a genre picture, but he was so good in that, and he's never been nominated. So you want to get all political and fair-minded, then you ought to, bring John Goodman
crazy.
up.
That's crazy that John Goodman has never been nominated.
Mm-hmm. What
and
are some other films that he'd qualify for, do you guys think? Just off the top of your head.
Barton
All
Fink.
I can think of is Oh Brother Where Art Thou. Is the only film.
I haven't seen Barton Fink, but my brother saw Barton Fink, and he described it to me, and he said the most awe-inspiring thing in it was John Goodman's performance.
Really?
That he was remarkably funny and then scary and all this other stuff. And so there's that. What else has he been in?
That does get a Blu-ray release this February, by the way. So,
Bryce, what were you going to say?
I said he should be nominated for Roseanne.
Just for he should get a medal for getting through Roseanne. That's what I think.
Here, let me pull up his name in IMDb and see what he's known for.
Well, while you're pulling that up, the other one that should have been nominated was also Patrick Stewart for Green Room. Patrick Stewart gives this incredible performance that's so subtle and yet so chilling and so terrifying as the leader of the neo-Nazis in Green Room. It's so outside of his wheelhouse, and yet he's so perfect for it. And it was so amazing. Cool. People, the Academy, this is one thing I have a beef with them, is they overlook genre films most of the time. If it's, kind of a small thriller or a small sci-fi or a small whatever, then they turn their noses up at it, and they missed two great performances this year because they did that.
The Big Lebowski, John Goodman.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Argo, John Goodman, right there.
Oh, that, yeah. Everybody else got nominated except for him.
Yeah.
I wonder what he did. Jeez, I mean, Mel Gibson can say he hates them all and he gets nominated.
That's true.
Jeez. So, one thing that we could bring up is Best Animated Movie.
Oh, yeah.
I like animated movies.
I was happy to see Kubo and the Two Strings in the running. And also Kubo and the Two Strings up for Best Special Effects, which I don't know how you differentiate animation from special effects, but hey, the more the merrier.
Yeah, I love Kubo.
I still need to watch that movie, by the way.
Well, remind me, Finding Dory didn't get nominated, did it?
No. Mona and Zootopia, The Red Turtle, and My Life as a Zucchini. So I haven't seen... I've only seen one of them. See, I'm doing horrible with the nominations this year. Goodness.
Well, I'm curious, when was the last time Pixar didn't get a nomination at least? I mean, I think they won. Didn't they win last year for Inside Out, or am I crazy? Was that last year?
Was that last year?
I swear they did. They won for won for Brave the year it came out, for crying out loud. So,
yeah, that's pretty interesting.
They always get nominated. They have 2 movies a year usually, and this year I think they just had one. I think they only had Finding Dory, unless Good Dinosaur was this year, but I think it was last year.
Finding Dory, that did not get nominated. Huh.
That is interesting.
Pixar out of the running.
It's pretty good,
of course, they can,
I guess not that good.
Well, they can cry themselves all the way to the bank since they made over $1 billion with it.
Yeah.
So,
I really liked Zootopia. I would be happy if Zootopia won. But from the way I've heard everyone talk about Kubo and the Two Strings, I could see that winning too. Because I haven't heard one bad thing about it.
Just for the artistry that went into that film, it's so much. It's like on a different level than the rest of the films in my mind. You know, like just knowing what they went through to make that film, and with the stop motion, even though it's kind of a hybrid, they do have some green screen effects for, you know, more scenic stuff, but it's incredible. And the miniatures that they use, the whole miniature sets, it's really beautiful, and it's a dying art, and so I'm throwing my hat in for that one for sure.
Well, you know what I found out? The guy who directed it, I don't know his name, but he is the son of the guy who invented Nike shoes.
Really?
Yeah, so, you know, all this money, you know, billions and billions of dollars from Nike shoes. And apparently this guy, I heard about him, he went in on the bottom floor of a company and learned stop motion animation from the bottom up. I mean, all the other Leica movies have not been directed by him. This is his first one. But he worked and he figured it out, and he didn't use his money as an excuse. And he got to the point now where he's directing the films, and I think a lot of his money does finance them. But it's just an interesting story from a guy who came from that background and still chose to learn something so, like you said, it's a dying art and so difficult, and kept with it. And now he's made their best movie, I think, by a mile. I liked their other stuff. Their other stuff was good. But this is the first one I was raving about. So, interesting, just little background.
Okay, I got one for you guys. I have not seen this, but what are your guys' thoughts on Suicide Squad getting nominated for an Oscar?
Yeah, come on. Give me a break.
Are you guys surprised?
It was for makeup, wasn't it? Was it for
makeup and hairstyling?
Which I can.
You couldn't see it; it was too dark. So I don't know.
No kidding.
But
it's too horrible. The music was so distracting, and Harley Quinn's performance was just making me throw up in my popcorn.
There's only 3 nominees: A Man Called Ove or whatever, and Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah,
why aren't there more nominees? Is that the best of the makeup and hairstyling series? Like,
I don't know. I saw a lot of people saying that
La La
Deadpool
Land
was going to get a nomination for that, but
yeah,
Suicide Squad paid them off. I'll be kind of irritated if they win. Just because I don't want them to win any acknowledgement that it was good at whatsoever in any.
Yeah, they already got too much by being nominated. Like,
no kidding. Like, come on.
Well, you know, the other day, the director David Ayer, he put up a message on Instagram or something saying that if he had it to do over, that he would do a lot differently and he would take more time. And most interestingly, he said he would make the Joker the villain and not do the other. So he said, if I had it to do over, I'd make the Joker the main villain. I've never heard of a director like talking that way about his own movie after it's come out. It's kind of unprecedented.
It was horrible. That's because it was horrible. I mean,
and he's not a crap filmmaker like we've discussed.
No,
he's a good filmmaker.
So we should let him redo it. I'll give him a redo. I'll go see it. Let him actually edit it and not some stupid trailer people.
We can go on to the last one I want to talk about is special effects.
Yes.
I think of all the nominees, it's interesting because that's where Star Wars showed up this year. Star Wars showed up in sound and special effects. Force Awakens got a few more nominations. I know it got one for editing and for score for music, but Rogue One did show up. I think Jungle Book deserves that one. I'm still kind of in awe of all the work that went into the Jungle Book and how amazing it looks. So that's the one I would give it to.
Interesting. The last category I want to talk about is writing. I always like the original screenplays where I'm a wannabe screenwriter myself. La La Land, Damien Chazelle. So he's the one that wrote 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is kind of an interesting dynamic there. You know, he went from 10 Cloverfield Lane to La La Land and Whiplash. So, anyways, he's got some chops. He's not pigeonholed to one genre, which is nice. The Lobster is another.
I was gonna bring that up. Have you seen The Lobster yet, Brian?
I have not. No.
Okay, well, if you're going to nominate it for something, I feel like that's the thing to nominate it for, because it was such an interesting original idea. It was done in such a fascinating way, and the performances were good. The movie itself was excellent, but the star of the show was the screenplay. So I felt like that was a good nomination, a good place to put that.
Cool.
Okay, anybody else?
All right. Yeah. I've talked the Oscars this year.
Be exciting.
All right. It's February 26th, isn't it? That's when the Oscars are? Something like that.
26th, 28th, something like that.
Yeah, February 26th. So, check them out. We'll do a little predicting as we go along. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But this has been the Valhalla Filmcast. I'm Bryce Thompson.
I'm Brian Hammond.
And I'm Ryan Gosling. Cody Rary. Sorry.
I love you.
Distracted. It just came out.
All right. We'll talk to you next time.
This just got awkward. See you guys.
Bye.
The following views, opinions, and commentary are the sole property of the Valhalla Filmcast. Any unauthorized reproduction without prior consent is prohibited. Any incidental music, audio clips, or film trailers are used for the sole purpose of film criticism and commentary as allowed under the Fair Use Act.